All right, hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to SketchUp Live. It is Friday afternoon. I am your host, Aaron Dietzen. We're going to be doing some modeling today. With me today, lucky enough to have my buddy Jody Gates on the line.
Hey, everybody.
So Jody and I are here, so you know it's gonna be something. It's gonna be awesome. I was actually thinking about this is kind of channeling 2020 vibes. It's when we started doing way too many live models.
The good old days. 3 times a week.
At the beginning of the pandemic, when everybody got stuck at home, Jody and I decided to do the best thing we could for humanity as a whole. And we figured that meant as much of us on YouTube as possible. So we started streaming 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We don't do that anymore.
That's back when we turned on monetization and we were doing all the things to make a little side money.
No, we didn't do that. We did do a lot of us, though. There was a lot of us, and it was fun. I think it was a good community building thing. A way to interact when you couldn't actually interact.
Yeah, it was really good for figuring out what people liked and what they didn't like.
There was a lot of
It seemed as the summer went on, there was a lot that they didn't like.
there was some active A/B testing happening right there.
Very much.
Let's never model that again.
Yeah, apparently there can be too much, Aaron and Jody.
Too much of a good thing can happen. I've heard that. I've experienced that with ice cream, so I think it's kind of the same thing.
Ugh.
Ugh. Yeah. Anyhow, yeah, we're here now, not in quarantine. We are here live, hanging out with you guys Friday afternoon. Great way to end the week. We are going to be modeling the Qorner Tower, which is a very unique building. I have a couple thoughts about it that we're going to get into as we get in and start modeling. I just wanted to, before we do that, I'm not sure if there's anything specific we have to call out happening in the next couple weeks, but I did want to mention, of course, as always, Basecamp is coming up. So it's in September. We are selling tickets right now. There's still tickets for sale, though, so you can still get in there. It is going to be in Vancouver. It is at the end of September. And I'm in the process of, me and a group of people, I can't take full credit for it, are in the process of putting together the agenda. And we have some awesome classes happening there, as well as some very cool events. And we've actually been talking about a couple things. Like, I think we're going to try to do a podcast live recording from there. And we may actually Friday, we may hop into a room and do this live stream from Basecamp. So that'd be kind of fun. That'd be cool.
So we'll have to affect our best Canadian accents, eh?
Hey, yeah. Don't you know that'd be a good time? And that means you have to be very polite and not be, no sarcastic or snippy comments from you, Jody.
Right. Sorry. I'll have to be.
There you go.
I'll get better with that.
Nailed it. So yeah, if you are interested in buying one, you can pick up a ticket at 3dbasecamp.sketchup.com. And if you use my name, full name, Aaron Dietzen, without the space right here, you can actually knock I think 15% off of any ticket. So that'd be awesome. If you come, join us, hang out with us, maybe even, sit in a room with us when we do a live stream. How cool would that be? Yeah, that's
I need to get my tickets. I still got to get my plane tickets.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm maybe walking.
That's a long walk.
It is.
But it's doable. You could get there. Next week, a couple more things. Next week, we're doing recording a podcast live on Crowdcast. So you go to Crowdcast and pull up the SketchUp page. You can find a link there. We're going to be talking with debating Tammy Cody about some interior design ideas. It's going to be a good one. Come check that out. And then the last thing I wanted to point out has escaped me. So, how you been?
Had I known there were things to point out, I might have wrote them down.
I'm winging it here, but SketchUp is going to be at AIA in a couple weeks in Chicago. So if you are going to AIA already, swing by the expo hall, say hi to us. I don't have a booth number or anything like that. We'll be in the one that's labeled SketchUp, though. That'll be us. So should be cool. It'll be a fun time.
Should be easy to spot because it'll be the busiest one with the most people there.
That's right.
Seeing all the stuff.
Handing out socks. That's going to be like a big part of it. If you already have SketchUp, you can just come by, say hi, and grab some SketchUp socks. They're awesome. Those are the things that I made a quick mental list of before I started. So
that's a pretty good list. You really
Thanks.
sort of flew through those.
I
I
did.
guess you're just so excited to model this
It
pixel building.
it is time to model this thing. I was kind of interested. We have a high number of attendees show up today, which is super, super cool. I'm just curious if this is your first time joining us. If you can go in the chat and say first time, that would be awesome. We'd like to give you a high. If you're returning, you're still awesome. We still love you. That's not a diss.
And also hi to you as well.
Oh yeah, and hi. Yeah, blanket hi.
And I'm seeing new places. Of course, for the most part, they're all somewhere other than the US. So crazy to me. I love it.
Oh, Luna's
But I'm
here,
seeing
brand new. 12 days in.
nice.
Nice, fresh.
This will be a great place. Unfortunately, this building. So I was reading some facts, and this building wasn't designed in SketchUp. It was designed in Minecraft.
First of many, folks. Stick around. They're only going to get better.
It looks a lot like a Minecraft building. Not gonna lie.
Awesome. Yeah, new people coming back. Jeff's here for his fourth time. Ryan's first time. Jay Baker, I feel like I've heard before, but Dennett. Awesome.
Jamaica, nice.
Very cool.
I don't think I've seen anyone from Jamaica before. I mean, in this chat.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I assumed. Awesome. Well, this is going to be a good time, guys. If you have not been here before, our goal of these live streams is to just kind of get to hang out with you guys. It's a little bit of social. We do tend to have fun. It's not real structured learning. I just want to throw that out. If you are looking for something that's like click by click, how to go from point A to finished model, that's awesome. We do have that. If you check out our site called SketchUp Campus, learn.sketchup.com, that has a lot of formal. I'm not saying leave. Hang out now. And then go check that out afterwards if you want that structured learning. What we tend to do here is take a model and we do a little bit of practice in modeling, like how to approach modeling specific things, how to go about using SketchUp to create the designs you need to create. So that's kind of what we want to do here. So this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to jump into it. So unless you got anything else, Jody, are we ready to start? You good?
I think I'm ready to go.
Right.
I'm pulling up all my little known facts about the Qorner Tower.
All right. Load them up. All right, let's go.
Well, I do have some concerns, Aaron.
Oh.
I feel like because this is so blocky, it could very much wander into motherboard level of click and repeat.
Yeah, we'll have to see how to to not go there. Again, if it's your first time, we did a model. It was during pandemic time too, where we were. It was a lot of people asked for it.
Yeah,
or the same guy asked a lot of times.
And look what they got.
They asked if we could model a motherboard, or we ended up doing a video card, and it was really cool at first, but it very quickly became copying a component, paste a component, paste a component, paste a component, paste a component, and it did that for like an hour. So it wasn't quite as exciting as we wanted. We probably should have just scattered it.
There's only so many things I can like clever things I can do while you're clicking.
Yeah.
At some point, it's just like, yeah, Jody, you just made that comment already. We get it.
That's right. So yeah. So reference to video card or Cobra modeling are inside jokes.
Verboten.
Yeah, don't do it. Okay, so let's talk about the Qorner. I got a couple of pictures that I got of the Qorner. Let's import this one first. So just going to import this, make it nice and big, and take a look at it. So this is, whoa, made that very big. This is the building we're going to go for. Like Jody said, I don't want to spend the entire time exactly replicating this and doing individual push-pulls and that kind of thing. I want to make sure that we kind of move through this and create something that we can interact with, design with, get you guys feedback, that kind of thing. But this is the thing we want to come up with. So two things occurred to me as I was looking at this. One was, do we just do this is a render too, which has sort of an extreme distortion. You can see how angled that top is. But I was like, do we try to play with it and get a photo match and then just go in and trace it? But that's I guess we could, but that'd be, I don't know. That'd be the least exciting thing that I could think of to do with this particular building. Um,
I feel like there's a great opportunity to do a little math
okay, so
as
it's the
you're.
second worst thing I could think to do with this building. But to that point, I found another image as I was working through that, and that was this image. And
Oh,
this, well, first off, it
ooh,
looks like it could have been made in SketchUp. Um,
or
it's
Minecraft.
or yeah, we'll assume that that's always the case. This could be Minecraft, probably not, but it could be. So as I looked at this image right here, I was like, there's an opportunity here to just talk about preliminary design, like how we could go about massing and adjusting models. And I thought that would be kind of a cool, fun thing to do. So I want to start in that vein. I want to start with taking some blocks and then how do we go about shifting them and manipulating that kind of thing. Because when you look at it, it's not repetitive, right? So these these ones right here aren't the same as these ones. The sizes of the balconies are different. So each floor is actually different. Um, and I want to just kind of play with how we could go about and make that geometry happen. Uh, yeah. So that's kind of where I wanted to start.
Nice.
So let's do that.
Christopher suggests that this is actually made in Jenga, which maybe that might be more accurate than Minecraft.
It does. I can almost look at it like it kind of lets your eyes blur a little bit, and it does look like a Jenga game that is on its way out. Like this one's
Yeah,
not going to last
which
much
is
longer.
which is basically 4 moves in for me. Hate Jenga.
Um, all right. So let's do that. I want to start with I just want to start by going in and starting playing with some forms. So this may not be asterisk. Again, because I want to talk more about the design process rather than the exact copying, we may not end up with this exact building, but we're going to end up with something like that as we go through the process.
Maybe
Again,
the core-ish.
that's right. We're going to be, maybe this is the corner too. Um, or maybe I'll spell mine with a K. Korner.
Oh, nice.
Set aside, set apart. And it's not to again not to diminish anything. Like I said, we could do a photo match here and try to match this exactly, but I'd rather dive into if that works for you guys. If anybody has a serious problem with it, let me know. But that's where I'm going to go for now. Okay. Where is? Wow, this is a really big image. Okay. So I'm going to start with some shapes. I want to again just kind of start with some blocks to work with. So one of the things that does happen on this, the first floor is a different size than the rest because it's the lobby or commercial space. I'm not really sure. Same with the top space. The top space is taller. It actually has a pool on the roof. So those are different. My thought would be we'll do this and then come back and kind of add those in afterwards. It's 20 floors. So the way I would go about it is to make, this first representation of what a floor looks like, make copies, repeat it 20 times, manipulate those, and then come back and add the detail after. That's how I would go about this. So to start with, I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to make a component. I am using a component right now. So one of the things that we always talk about with components is components repeat. So if you are connected. So if you edit one component, you're editing all components. So eventually, I don't want this to be a component, right? Because eventually, each floor or many of the floors are going to be different. So what I would want to do is say, maybe turn them into groups later on. But right now, for my initial massing, if I need to change the size of something, being able to change it once and having everything come with is going to be kind of essential for this initial massing. So I'm going to call this a corner chunk.
Kegi said he thought it was 24 stories high.
You're making me count?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of math going on here.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And the roof,
So they were.
27.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh. All right.
I was just
So,
going to comment that you seem like you're being much more educational this time around. Like maybe you've been taking classes on how to make more compelling
I
videos or something. I don't know.
maybe if I apologize if I'm breaking if I'm off brand, I apologize.
Sorry for being too educational. This is
Yes,
entertainment.
yeah, I guess so. No, maybe I'm thinking about it. And like I said, I've spent a lot of time the last couple weeks looking at classes for Basecamp. So maybe I'm just thinking about that more. But anyhow, yeah, here we go. I'm sure I'll say something stupid soon. You guys don't have to worry.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be listening. I'm waiting.
I'm gonna
Poised.
I'm gonna make a copy of these two blocks and I'm gonna say 25x, and there we go.
So was it the Burj Khalifa that was kind of this similar thing where we had the base that was different than the rest of it? So we had to sort of fudge numbers to maybe
Yeah.
get it to work the way we wanted.
Again, so there's some things talking about throwing back to 2020. There's some things that I've learned over my time of live modeling, and dialing in details perfect are things that I think in general I want to steer clear of, because you guys have told me that going back and fine tuning little tiny shifts and things, not super exciting. So I'm gonna say it's about 26 floors. And yeah, because the Burj Khalifa, we ended up going in like adding a floor here, taking one out here, taking the whole thing and shifting it up one floor height, and it was not super exciting, I would say.
For you, maybe.
No, well, Jody loved it, so there you go. All right, you know what I'm gonna do now, even though you don't have a soundboard.
Yeah, that Jay Baker actually commented that there's no animal sounds to throw you off.
Yeah, it got a little crazy last time. Whew.
I'll see if I can get my dogs in here. We can get some animal noises.
I it, so actually, I do feel like I gotta just real quickly let you guys know what happened last week. So last week I was in here in the office in our studio Friday morning, like normal, and our internet was down throughout the whole building. It was something to do with our provider, um, and all morning it did not work. So I was debating. I'm like, do I hotspot my phone and just stream the whole thing? And that was just no. That's probably not a good way to do it. So Tyson actually came in and did his live model, which was an awesome looking lamp. I don't know if you guys saw the live model, but you should watch it if you can. Super cool looking lamp, and he just did it off the cuff from an image he had, and it turned out really good. So I really appreciated that, because we were queued up to model this and then just straight up couldn't. So it was great. Um, so yeah, that's Jody's saying that, or I think so. So a lot of can you guys tell me, has this building been built or has construction started at this point? Because Colin just pointed out that some of the reference images do show 22 floors. This one does have 26. So I feel like we're working off of renders, which actually is good. It makes me feel a little better about just winging it. I'll be totally
So
honest.
I found something that was showing it being built in progress.
That could
Like
be.
but I don't like it's just got a bunch of netting around the top. So I don't know.
Yeah.
There's still room for more floors there.
All right. I feel confident. I feel good about going. We're just gonna go for this. We're gonna dive in. All right. So I got this thing. I'm going 26 floors. Adjust if you remodel this yourself. Adjust as you feel appropriate. And what I want to look at is how would I go about something like this. So you can see that the uh, the insets are different one half to the other. So it has a very non-symmetric look, which is really cool. But how would I go about that? So there's a couple things so one thing I could do is I could come in here and just start, moving. I could just start, constrained to this axis and go, okay, you're just going to come back about this much. You're gonna come back about this much. Not rotate. You're gonna come back. I could do that and just play with it, but I want to say that I want to have some kind of reference. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna draw a rectangle right here, and this rectangle, I'm gonna make it a group, and I'm gonna go into that group, hide the rest. Whoops, I grabbed the wrong thing.
Yeah, looking at this, like, so something that's interesting in this building that's being built is like the bottom. I think you suggested it was just the bottom 2 floors, but as I'm looking at this, bottom 6 floors are taller.
Hmm.
Like they look like squares the higher up you get. At the bottom, they're like a window and a half size. But let's stick with the reference image you got because I feel like
I think I'm gonna just blow the reference image away in a few, so we'll be good.
there you go. And then at the end, we'll just be like, I look vaguely like the Qorner Tower.
Yeah, it's cornerish. All right. So what I'm gonna do is I want to get kind of a nice symmetric arc to play with. So this is the middle 24 floors, same height, and I'm gonna put a couple arcs in here. I'm just gonna put an arc in the middle like this, and then I'm doing another arc like that, and just let it go tangent. So just let it use that blue, and I want to use that shape just as a reference to follow. Again, I could go in and just kind of randomly move stuff. That's fine. Random's cool. But I want to try to follow an arc like this just to see how that would work out. So I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna grab it, slide it on over.
It almost feels like you could create an extension that designs this tower.
That's probably not untrue.
Not
There's,
to invalidate architects, but
there is some sort of parametricness that I could probably leverage if I had the smarts and or abilities to, do that. So what I'm doing is just grabbing the midpoint and sliding it straight back till it hits the curve. I just want to see what that looks like. So I'm going to take that up to, actually this is symmetrical. So what I could do, learn by doing.
there you go.
So what might work, let's
Best way to
find
do it.
out. I'll take these four, I will option rotate them up. Then I'll take these 8, rotate from this spot right here, option rotate from the middle, and then I'll have to spin those. Not option. Slide them over like that. And then find the midpoint, bring that back out to the arc. I think I did that one too early. I jumped the gun. Which does happen, but like I said, easy enough to fix, not a big deal. So let's take those, which I think is kind of what you're looking for when you talk about conceptual architecture is, the idea of playing with forms. We had a guy, an architect named John Melby, come on our fireside chats, something else we did to get through the pandemic. And he talked about, conceptual modeling, how you go about moving shapes around, that kind of thing. And it was very interesting to me. I really enjoyed seeing that. All right. So here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I grab these bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I can rotate those from this middle like this. I can say option copy. Oh, I don't have my keylogger on. All right, and that gets me something that follows an arc.
Nice.
Kind of cool.
Looks very archish.
I'll say.
I would say that you appear to be a very capable architect. Not really. You're not.
No, that's true. Architect, maybe?
There you go. Tangentitect.
Okay, there we go. Those are on. So I deleted that, but maybe I'll bring that back because I'm kind of thinking one of the things I could do here, copy it over here, and maybe I'll mess with this a little bit. Maybe I'll take it and like scale it back like that. And then I could copy it on the other side. Whoops,
Undo.
undo. Still my favorite command. I was going to say something earlier and I kind of forgot what it was I was going to talk about.
So you undid your memory or your whatever you're going to talk about.
Happens.
Was it something clever or educational?
You know, I can't always remember the difference between the two, so
Nice.
edutainment. That's our deal here. So this will give me a more extreme version, which I think is actually the opposite of the picture I was referencing. The picture I was referencing had kind of a calmer curve on the front or on the back, and then more severe curve was up front. But I guess it depends on what side you're looking at it from.
Well, when I look at the building from the link I posted in chat a minute ago, of what was actually built, it was definitely one of those. This is what we want it to look like in all the concept images, and then what they actually built
A little different.
is it's been simplified.
That makes sense. I mean, that happens, right? It's
Yeah. At some point, somebody comes in and goes, "Okay, it's going to take us, $18 billion to do it the way you've designed." And they're like, "Well, could we if we do this, will it be cheaper?"
that's right.
Yes.
How do we knock a couple million off of this thing?
I mean, it still looks neat.
It's very cool looking. It's a very unique looking building. I was kind of reading because it has its own website from the architects. I think the idea was to give it a unique look and still try to make every single floor feel like it had its own outside space rather than just being stacked up. So
Yeah.
which I think is very, very respectable thing to try to do. All right, so something like that to start. I like it. I like it. I'm going to take this section right here, though. Maybe like how far off it is there. Something like that, perhaps. All right. So already we're kind of starting to get that geometry. Now there's something I want to look at specifically. If I look at this, I can see that actually I think every single one splits the one side of that end comes out while the other one stays back. So I think I can do that pretty quick since they're still components. If I come in here, and this is going to happen on actually, you know what, let's do this. Let's take these two at the bottom and make them unique. So those will be called corner chunk. When you make something unique, it just appends a 1 on there. But we're going to call it corner chunk ground floor.
Let's go see here.
Gourd floor? Ugh. Man, if I can't do math and I can't type, what do I got going for me? What am I doing?
Oh, wait, never mind. I was going to say your good looks, but I feel like that's not right.
Yes, that ship has sailed. All right, same thing up here. Make this top unique, and then we'll call those roof. I can go to 4-letter words. All right, and I'm going to take on the top and bottom, we're just going to make those, align, because it looks like maybe we have some stepping, but we'll do that in a second. All the rest of them are still the same piece. So if I grab one of these, drop a line like that, and then push one piece out, that's pretty cool. And since I flipped these middle ones, those end up a little bit different, but we'll do the same to both sides. I come on this side, offset that, pull that out a little ways. All right, so we're getting there. We're starting to get in that direction. One what I was thinking to just as a way to kind of start mixing these up a little bit is, can I take them and just invert them? You know, if I take every couple,
Life hack.
and that I made them symmetric, so that doesn't make any difference. So let's go over to
I'm
this
like,
side.
I'm not seeing what's changing here. What about doing side to side flips?
Well, that's true. I could have done that. That would have been easier. All right,
Hmm.
but let's try this. Let's see what happens now. You see, I think both would be good. If I go to -1 this way, we end up with that. So if I was to take, basically, what we're looking for is a way to, using software, which, software is very much, the goal of software is to do stuff exactly, right? Because that's where that math and things come into play. Uh, it does stuff exactly how you tell it to, which ends up creating, I'll do 2 this time just to get crazy with it. Trying to make that look random. So there's some things that we could have done to do this too. If we could have taken something like, I think Tyson used a randomizer extension before, where he, uh, you know, kind of made pieces different sizes or that kind of thing, which is also an option because that would have done a good job of just giving us different size things. Um,
Wow. So you pretty much going to have this thing crushed by 12:45.
Early weekend. Oh, I'm gonna mess it up between now and then. Just again, if you're new here, it's just how it goes. Okay, so we could do something like that. It's going to give us a little bit more randomness. What I'm trying to do at this point is, as much as I can do at this point while I still have components where if I can change everything globally, that's going to be nice. So as much as possible, where I can just come in here and change one thing and have everything change, try to do as much as I can in that piece. Eventually, because this is all non-symmetric, everything looks different, I'm going to have to sooner or later come in and break all these pieces apart. Um, so they don't follow exactly. But before that, if I can make changes and make impact with those first pieces, that's kind of my goal right now.
So Cyanide 2020's their method that they said they would have used would be to select every other floor and rotate 180 on the z-axis.
Hey, that's good. Let's do it. Wait, well,
Chunk.
yeah, but watch.
Yeah, but
I did not say that. That's a good one. All right, so if I take this and I rotate it about this, so the issue
whoa.
is not unsolvable. So now what I have to do is take all of these. That won't work either, because as soon as I do this, as soon as I invert it,
Andy's suggestion was, what about rotating 180 degrees along the links?
well, that actually worked pretty good.
There you go. Great. So we're gonna have this done by 12:40.
Thanks for speeding me up, guys. Um, okay, so I'm gonna do again in the spirit of working off of. I'm gonna turn a couple things on. I have a hotkey for toggling rest of model on and off as I enter a group or component. What I don't have a hotkey for is turning off everything else. So if I go to view, component edit, or I'm sorry, not everything else, other copies. So I'm gonna turn this on so that I can work off of one piece. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just do that. I'm gonna pull this down to about, I don't know, halfway, like that. And I'll do the same thing with this balcony over here. And I'll pull that one out a little bit further. Let's see what that looks like. All right, we're getting closer to that look that we have there. At this point, if there is specific detail I want to add to, I would do that. So if I did want to do something like grab these pieces, not scale, offset, get in the middle there. All right, let's offset these 3 pieces. So if I wanted this look, I would want to do that now rather than when I move forward, because that's going to do all that. The downside to that is as I'm making changes, I can't just do a quick push-pull anymore. If I do want to change the length of a balcony, I have to make sure I do a group select and move. Not a big deal, not a bad thing necessarily, but something you'd want to be conscious of. All right, so I'll do that. I'll do the same thing here. Push-pull, same length. So that's getting there. It's getting closer.
There's something about this also is making me is like looks like a stack of lumber at a lumber yard.
I can see that. So when we spun and scaled, we ended up with the same balconies on, whoops. Aha! I put some upside down, remember?
Whoopsie. That's exciting. Those are worst balconies ever.
That's not gonna pass inspection very well, I do not think. So
Keggy pointed out that probably it makes sense to put your windows in before exploding.
the end windows, yes, that would be super wise.
Well, why not the side windows?
Well, because here's the thing on the side windows. The side windows don't align. So if I come here and let's just say I put this first window in here. When I come out here, they don't line up anymore, so they're jumping.
Ah.
And the grid on here is the same. So what would have to happen is one of 2 things. I could build that facade out as a separate piece that sits on top and just use the floors I've created as a guide, or I would have to explode everything out and then go in and put that grid in onto the geometry.
Yeah, I feel like it's easy enough to add. I mean, using arrays, it'd be pretty trivial to put a grid of windows up there anyway.
I think that's kind of what I'll do. I'm going to come back through here. Just mix up a couple of these. Nice one. Oh, actually, you know what? I could probably just grab this thing and just flip along. Red? Nailed it!
Yay! That was daring. That was a bold move.
I knew. I've been practicing, guys. Shoot. But now what this is doing is because the way I flipped it before, yeah, now they're all going to be on the same side. So who recommended that I do that spin?
I'm not going to point fingers at anybody.
Just kidding. Not a big deal. But now I can actually come here because this will actually be fairly easy because if I come in here and grab these guys I just flipped, and now I can scale them to -1. Now we're back to alternating. It does look, I mean, when you look at the actual renders, it does have a kind of a random chaos look. But if you look in there, it is intentional. You can see that they don't have this, which I created because where they have one sitting on top of another. They're always going back and forth, it looks like. But yeah, we're getting close. This is kind of cool. I like this. I'm getting excited. This is neat. Yes, it does make sense to probably come in here, do something like, actually, let's do this. Let's come in here and that should be the same offset. Whoops. Sometimes I confuse cap locks for shift. Anybody else ever do that?
So the weirder thing is, since I use a Mac and keyboards all seem to, they get all weird. I like have to go in and reassign keys.
Really?
Option key. What the heck is an option key anyway?
Yeah.
Should be optional.
I you know what I don't get, and maybe you can explain this to me. Why does Mac, which has a control key, the default functionality is the same as a different key on Mac? Why do we have to be different? Why have to be so? Whoa,
Uh,
still got a couple upside downs.
oh, that's fun. That's exciting. So Transom and Lawrence are both requesting the.
Save.
Did you hit the S key? Yeah. Ryan was asking what you're using for your little mouse highlighter and your key logger.
So I use software called Visualizer or Visualize. I think it's just Visualize. Let's see. Visualize. Um, I can't say anything plus minus
Does,
good bad about it. It's I got it. I
does
use
it do
it.
both? Does it
It
do both
does.
things?
Yeah. So
Okay.
this and this are both created through that same app. Um, it works okay. I don't dislike it, but I don't love it because I do still have issues where it sometimes turns on or off. You can set a shortcut key to always like when you hit the button, it turns key logging on or off, and that doesn't ever seem to work consistently. Sometimes it recognizes it, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it'll turn on or off as I'm streaming. So not not
Nice.
not love,
Yeah.
not hate, but not love.
So Lenny made a really good point was the upside down balconies is probably why it's taken so long to build this thing in real life.
It's really hard to get that self-leveling concrete to work upside down.
Upside down.
Just scoops him. Keeps falling, boss. All right. So, I mean, if nothing else, we've got kind of a cool, compelling set of geometry in half an
Can't you?
hour.
Yeah, there's you still got one upside down one up there at the top,
Okay. Here's
or
one.
maybe a couple. I don't know. Oh nope, I see one in the middle there even.
Jeez.
Yeah, you got a bunch. You got a bunch. I'm gonna go fill up my water. I'll be right back while you fix
Wow.
that.
Jody is currently rage hydrating. All right. Is that better? All right. Got it. Any. Oh, there's one. So, I was really going hard for the whole randomness, and apparently I pushed too hard for random because nothing separates two things from. Oh wait, there's one more. Oy. Okay, we good? Are we good? I think I'm there. Cool. Woo! I did it. Yeah, that's a question. Could I just have made one half and then flip the whole thing on the blue axis? So if you look again, this is kind of the conceptual thing. Uh, they're not opposite. It doesn't go back versus forward across the whole thing. They're just two slightly different offsets. Um, and then the randomness came in afterwards. So there's still an opportunity to kind of randomize some more. The randomization at this point might be like taking individual floors and scooting them in or out to get that balcony out there more. So like this guy right here, maybe I'll pull him out a little bit more. Um, that sort of thing is, I feel like, what would be the next step, where we just kind of come through and manually adjust. Again, the idea where I'm at right now is trying as much as possible to still maintain components. Because right now, again, the second I break a component apart and make it unique, I can't go back and quickly and easily edit everything at once anymore. But we're getting close to the point where that's going to be the next step. Let me do one more check to make sure all of my
Andy
balconies
had
are upright.
a good idea
Mm-hmm.
is color coding the tops and bottoms.
So if I do come in here, let's do that, because that's I'm laughing because it's like it's those simple things. You're like, wow.
It makes so much sense.
Let's put
Why would you
blue on the bottom,
possibly want to do something like that?
and when we flip this way, ah, oh, just when I thought I had it all. All right, So we'll take that and we'll flip that vertically.
Life hacks.
That was
I
beautiful.
wonder, like as the architect that was working on this, like, you sometimes you just get in your own head about
Oops.
trying to make it meticulously random. Like how deliberate did he go through every one of these floors and look at it and be like, that's not quite what I need,
Yeah.
and literally just keeps changing. Oh, this one should be over more.
Well, I would imagine. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the architect or architectural team who created this did it in less than an hour and a half that I'm giving myself. So they probably had the chance to go through and go, okay, how does each of these floors look? Which one should be out more? Which one should I spend? I have a feeling that's probably the way hopefully that's the way it all went. Um, Whereas I'm just sort of, you know, we're
You're
doing
just a dude
conceptual
in a
modeling.
t-shirt. You're a dude in a t-shirt on a Friday afternoon doing this. You're getting paid
There's
considerably less than he got paid, probably.
probably true also. There's no letters after my name. Yeah, so I'm not that guy. But
Well, maybe like DBA or something like that.
Aaron Dietzen, R.I.P. Wait, no, that's bad. Don't do that one.
TM.
Okay, so but
I don't.
I like this. That was an awesome. Who was is that Lawrence's idea?
It was. I think it was Andy's. It was
Andy.
Andy's.
That was awesome. Great idea. That is using the tools you got available to you right now to make your job simpler, and that is what
Yeah.
software should do.
I don't. I feel like this hasn't come up in a while in these shows, or maybe it's just that I keep hanging out with Tyson. But what's that thing you're using with your left hand there?
With this thing,
Yeah.
this whole thing. So this right here is what's called a 3D mouse. It is specifically the Space Mouse Enterprise from a company called 3D Connection. That's Connexxion.
No, it's
No,
two
one
N's,
X.
one X.
Connex. Fortunately, it's written right here. So I have a cue card, still screwed it up.
You really should have screwed that up.
3D Connexion. What this does is it lets me keep this hand, which I usually have on my normal mouse, free, and it moves me in 3D space like that. The reason this is a big deal, there's two things that this reason this is nice. One is because it leaves my main mouse available. I can do things like go grab the next tool that I want to use while I'm zooming, or maybe even select as I'm moving around the building. Super useful if you're a designer who's like feels like you've hit the ceiling. Like I don't know how do I go above where I'm at. 3D mouse is possibly a design tool that will help you go to that next level. The other thing it does real nice is it makes for in my opinion, smoother and better looking animations inside the model. So as SketchUp users, we get used to this view, right?
Chonk, chonk, click, click.
Believe it or not, this is not that appealing to everybody who looks at it. We're used to it. There's a direct connection through the movement I'm using with my mouse and my brain. So I'm expecting the building to jump and then stop. Somebody who's just watching it, that can be a little jarring. So a 3D mouse lets you make much smoother, controlled movements after practice, asterisk, and lets you actually spin around here in a way that it just shows a lot better. So if you're presenting a design of a building to, say, the building owner or something like that, a lot of times this can look a little nicer. It's just a better way to sell your design. So those are the two things that this does. Not a requirement. You don't have to have a 3D mouse. You don't have to have this 3D mouse. There's actually 3 different levels of 3D mouse that 3D Connection sells. Any of them will work, but not a requirement for using SketchUp. Just a thing that maybe, like I said, takes your ability up a level and takes your presentations up a level.
Or if you just like gadgets.
It is also just a cool toy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I never point this out either, but it does work in other software too. So it's not something you have to use SketchUp. It's also something that if you use other design softwares, you might try checking out also.
I always used it to make Google Earth into a flight simulator.
Also an option. I don't know. Does it still work in Google Earth?
I don't know.
I don't know what
either.
Google. I don't know what
Can
they're
you
doing
even
nowadays.
download Google Earth, or is it I think it's all on the web now. Who
I
knows?
think you can because I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I don't know. I don't know. Does anybody know? We obviously don't. All right.
I'm just I'm shrugging as loud as I can, but you can't hear it.
Shrug harder. Okay, so again, still components. We still have the opportunity to make changes. I want to create the facade real quick uh, and put that over the side and then maybe do a little bit of additional work before we explode or break the connections of our components. So when I talk about breaking the connection of components, just where we're going to go, I'm not talking about like right-clicking and exploding. Right-clicking and exploding will take the geometry out of the component and just return it to the main context. It won't be a component, it won't be a group, it'll just be a bunch of loose faces and edges. What I'm talking about is make unique, which makes this instance of this component its own copy. So it breaks the connection that components have where you change one and they all change. So that's what I'm talking about. At some point, I'm going to have to do that just so I can get in and create additional randomness in the fronts here. Right now, what I'm going to do is we're going to work on the facade. So I'm going to draw a rectangle over the top here. I'm going to take that rectangle, run it past both edges like this. All right. And I think I'm going to put that into a group. Just because when I'm actually in context, I want to make sure all of my drawing goes into this group and not somewhere else. That's something I like to, I personally, as soon as I start drawing, I try to put stuff into context because not necessarily because I need to separate the geometry from something else. All the rest of the geometry is already in components. So there's no danger of anything I draw accidentally ending up on one of the floors because the floors are separate pieces. The reason I want to do that as quick as possible is if I go in and I accidentally draw something, say, I accidentally draw a rectangle over here because I snapped to the wrong thing. Well, if I get rid of everything else, I can see that piece over there. So it's a lot harder to lose geometry. Occasionally, if I'm modeling out of context from all the way at the highest level, I'll draw something, lose it, and then not find it till later on because it was hiding behind another piece. So
It's always fun to find later.
yeah, later on you're like, where'd this line come from? So that's the reason for hopping into context, even though there's no danger of pieces connecting. But it's a good reason for that too. So if you've ever had one of those models where you model something and then you get done, you're like all your geometry stuck together with this other part back here. Of course, it's very important there too to do that. Cool. So I have a working plane right here. What I want to do now is it looks like on the average level there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 or so windows that go across here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just at random pick a level. Actually, not at random. I want to pick one of these middle levels because I want to align to that. I draw a rectangle like that. I'm going to midpoint, midpoint, midpoint. So this is 1/8 of this whole thing. I'm going to take that and I'm going to offset it. All right. That is one window. That's my window. So I'm going to take that.
So it might be worth pointing out that at this point we're sort of playing at making the Quora, but it's not necessarily this is not the corner building.
Right. So this is a corner inspired. Like I said, what we could have done is we could have pulled this drawing in and exactly traced everything, which has its merit. And maybe, I mean, if you guys say it and tell us that that is actually what you want to see, then maybe we'll do another model where we'll actually exactly model the corner. I felt like this was an opportunity to get in and just start, playing with the concept of modeling. So that's kind of where I ended up. I apologize if I disappointed anyone.
It disappointed me, but I'm used to it.
Yeah, so am I. All right, I'm going to take this bottom chunk, maybe push that up vertically a little bit higher. All right. So what I could do now, take that, and actually what I should do is I should take that down to the bottom level, because the bottom level is kind of what's going to set the grid for the rest. So I'm going to take it down here.
Well, but you want to go one up, right? Because we're pretending the bottom level is the business.
Yeah, but it looks
Whatever.
like that starts the grid.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, so some work will happen here. This won't end up being here, but it'll be different in the end. I'm going to take that, option copy it up once, and then say it doesn't go to the top. So I'm going to say 24x. All right, yes, that's what I'm looking for. I don't know where this. Oh, I grabbed the line on the bottom, copied it. This is what I'm looking for. All right, so I'm going to grab that. We need to go a little bit further in both directions. So I'm going to say, copy that to here, and then copy that to here. And now that I just did that, I wish I did it different. So I'm going to undo a couple times.
What was it you were saying about the undo?
It's just so good. It's just such a good command. All right. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to get rid of. All right, I guess I'll erase. So here's what just happened to me. Let me explain. All right. I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to make it a group, not a component, because I'm not going to change it. But I'm going to make a grid of these groups. And let me show you why. Let's say 10x. Grab one more. Stick it over here. And now I'm going to grab these 12. Yep, 12 groups. And I'm going to option copy that up. 24x, so 25 times total. The reason I just did that is because now I can come down here. I can actually get rid of this. I don't need that anymore. I can come down here and erase the pieces that I don't actually want to use. I don't have to come through and grab single lines to clean up. I can literally just kind of get rid of the ones that overlap.
So I'm agreeing with Eric's observation that it looks like the windows are sort of what determines the shifts of each floor.
Kind of, because the image that I'm looking at, they have half windows, and they have some
See,
that come fully out.
I guess what I keep looking at is the actual in the middle of construction version rather than the concept.
That could be. It is entirely possible, which is one of the reasons I made the shift to let's make our own version, was because we have different examples of how this building.
So since it's effectively fourths, right? There's four kind of unique setups going across the narrow side. Do you think somebody owns that middle, like the middle strips, or do you think people own each floor? I would hate to be the guy in the middle that only has windows on each end.
That would be rough. That's townhome living at its worst, I think.
Yeah.
All right, so this is kind of what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab this group that I created, and I'm just going to set a copy right here for later. So we'll come back to that. All right, so there's a couple things that happen in this model that I've noticed. One thing is that this height right here is actually determined by that bottom height there. So again, this is I got a little squirrely with my my heights, but that is more like what should happen. And the ratio of these pieces was all to keep, there's some stuff I was a little off on, but I was winging it. So there's a little bit of cleanup to happen there.
Certainly not the first time I've heard that you're a little bit off.
It's been said. It has been said. I'm going to turn my other components back on so that I can copy that offset there, copy this offset here, do this offset. And the nice thing, though, is that's not a very tall hand railing. That could be dangerous. But again, I think there's glass around there or something on these ones. But because they're still components, again, that was pretty simple to get set up. All right, now let's look at what we do next.
Hey, have you saved lately?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I was pretty sure you had, but
So
I mean, nobody had reminded us, so
it can
well, why
hardly be
bother?
called my fault, right?
No. Yeah. It takes a village to keep you on track.
It takes a village to raise an idiot. No, something like
Something like
that.
that.
There's village and idiot is in there somewhere. All right, I'm gonna do a little bit more cleanup while I'm in the component because I can. All right, that's looking kind of cool. Now, going back to, I think you said Eric mentioned that it does look like there's a tie between the offsets and the grid, which makes a lot of sense. Let's look at how we might be able to accommodate that. So there's a couple things I could think of because I said, like I said, one of the renders I'm looking at, it does look like they have either full windows or half windows on the end. So that means I could come in here and I could do some offsets like this, which puts a full window there. And then maybe this one goes back to, the halfway point. So I could do that. I could ripple through this thing. Okay, you're going to come out to full. You are going to go back to halfway. And again, this could end up kind of helping me with my okay, bring this way out so I can grab it by the right spot. Maybe you'll go to middle like that. You will come out full, which could be kind of cool because this, like I said, this might help me get a whole new randomness. This one back to here. You'll go to halfway. You'll go to halfway too, but because you're a different profile, oops, that was the one that was not a different profile. That's the one I goofed up. You'll have to go out farther. This will cause one issue that I'm already planning on. And that is the length of my overall floor is not right to the grid. So what I'll have to do is I will have to do some editing, which is actually going to cause huge problems in just a minute or two.
I mean, this is how you earn your money, right?
That's right. Let's show you how to do something stupid and fix what stupidness you did. See, this is where the show pays off, folks, is you watch this and you benefit from the stupid things that I do. That's why you should be able to watch this on the clock at work.
Well, and so then Kegi makes a good point of like by not encouraging you to save, we could have had some extra fun there whenever everything goes south.
Speaking of those, all right, so just looking at, I'm gonna go ahead and hide some things real quick.
Somebody suggested that would be some structural instabilities here. I think that's part of the fun of this whole thing, right?
I'm not an engineer.
If you're on floor 22, there's some excitement in swaying a little bit.
All right. So here's the issue I was just mentioning. So right here, I got a level that goes from the halfway point past the end. So if I go in here, I grab this stuff on the end and I scoot it back. Oh, that's great, right? Look at this one's at half, this one's at half, this one's at half. Everything turned out good until I come over here and realize that caused a problem on the end of all these other ones.
Oh,
Neat. So here's what I can do at that point. If I look at this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I come in now, see, this is issue, but not really kind of situation. So it did cause a problem on that end. It didn't cause a problem on this other end. So if I come in here now and I grab all the ones that are just slightly off, so come in here, do a multiple select, you're off, you're off, you're off, you're off, you're off, you're off. Anything that's not lining up right with the end or hitting in the midpoint, I'll just go select it. And then what I can do when I get to the top is take all of them at once and shift them over. And look what happens at that point. Now, all these ones that I have selected are back to, well, I guess they're not. They're a little off. So I'd still have to do some editing there too. But they're better. They're closer to aligned. I'm closer. The problem that I'm running into, the reason everything isn't lining up, is I randomly created these two balcony lengths rather than aligning to the grid originally. So how could I fix that? I don't know. I really don't have an answer for that.
Start over. Let's just go ahead and start over. It's only one.
It's a brilliant idea. What if I just said I was okay with it? That's another option, right?
What's the digital equivalent of crumpling this up into a ball and shooting for the basket in the corner, but missing?
All right.
Failing to save.
Save, yeah. All right, I'm gonna come in here and let's get this facade made into a single piece now. There's a couple ways I could do this. Because I made this a group and not a component, I have a bunch of loose pieces. This is a concern because what I want to do now is I kind of want to get rid, I want to create a single piece of geometry, just a mass. Because they're groups and not components, I do have a little bit of a problem. Fortunately, if I come in here to group copies and I say select all from, well, I guess I have to do all. If I say select all, it's going to highlight all of those. So SketchUp recognizes that they are copies of the same group. And the extension selection toys from TomTom, which I have installed, is going to let me select all those pieces at the same time. And then what I can do is I can say convert into components, and now these all are the same component. The reason that's important is what I need to do right now is I actually need to get rid of this. So I did all that just so I could get that created. Now that I have that all separate, and so that did make, remember the copy I made? I took a copy and I copied it to the other side of the building for use over there in a minute. Those all got turned into components too, but I think it'll be okay. It won't be a big deal. Because what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna select all of this. I'm gonna right click and I'm going to explode.
For some reason, this is like reminding me of like just a big stack of TVs, like old school
Tube.
80s.
Yeah, they're 4x3, not 16x9.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you having this? Are you occasionally getting questions from your kids as you're watching the new season of Stranger Things about stuff that's showing up in there, like it's ancient history? That huge walkie-talkie that they have.
Yeah, my daughter's comment last night was, "I feel like I can't like Stranger Things because I've sworn to hate all things 80s."
Did you tell her
like,
that you're a thing from the 80s?
No, I'm a thing from the 70s.
Well, yeah, but your formative years is what I was thinking.
Right.
When you were, yeah, the age of the kids in the show.
There's plenty of good stuff that happened in the 80s, just like there's plenty of bad things that happened in the 2000s. You know,
I think we set records with bad stuff in the 2000s so far.
No comment.
Yeah, sorry, we're not political here.
Well, it doesn't even have to be political. We've got, environmental change.
All the platforms.
we're hitting them all.
All right, so I got this as one piece now, but I have all these extra lines. So what I could do is I could come in here, and this is akin to hand stitching geometry, right? I could come in here and do this.
It's the anti-stitch.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to grab all of it. I'm going to go to the extension cleanup and say merge faces. And what that's going to do is make all of this one big face. But what it does is it kind of creates a puzzle or a maze here, because this is all one piece now, but any edge that was not separating what is now one piece from the other pieces stayed around. Fortunately, I can go back up to cleanup and I can say erase stray edges, and that should get rid of that and leave me with one big piece. There is a command inside of cleanup where you can run it to run all of the different cleanup steps at once. I tend not to do that because it's more than what I want to do. Cleanup does some organizational changes and gets rid of things outside of the geometry I selected, or does stuff to the geometry that I don't want to do. So generally when I run cleanup, I do the individual steps. I know if TomTom was watching, he'd go, well, just go in there and check the boxes you want and only do unselected, and that is possible. I don't do it because that's not the level of caution and concern that I use when I run stuff.
That's
It's
a
gone
good problem.
It's
Not a
gone
good
bad for
problem.
me. I've lost things completely because I told cleanup to get rid of things that I was actually needing. So that's my own thing. That's my own safety cover, a little safety cover on the button. That's how I do that. Okay, so we're getting closer. Now what I could do, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to give it just a little offset to give me that geometry sticking out. That looks cool. This is looking cool. Now I just have little bits of cleanup to do. So I think, I'm trying to think how I would go about this. I think what I would do is I come through from this side, and I could come in and just break some geometry like this. This is going to take a little bit. I wonder if there is...
This feels very much stitching.
Yeah. So I could... I'm formulating one of those instructor things where they go, I could do that, which actually there's not that much. There's not a terrible amount of geometry, but there's a better way. So that wasn't too bad. But what I can do instead, whoops, that wasn't too bad until I realized that I just deleted my entire back face. Why you did that? Wait, what are you doing? Making me look bad.
Just keeping it interesting.
Yeah. Jerk. Wow. Let's try that again.
Brian's suggestion is, without extensions, color a specific color, then select all the same material. That's a good way to, when you're using cleanup.
There we go. I can't back up that far. I moved on.
No. That's just wisdom for those at home that don't have
Cool.
TomTom's collection.
Man, but it's a free extension too, and it's one of those extensions that I'm like, everybody should probably just have this. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my facade now. My facade, to be honest, if we were just making something, these little alcoves actually kind of look kind of neat, and they might be worth keeping. But we're going to go for the corner aesthetic, and we're going to learn something. You're going to learn something. I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to overlap into the building just half this distance. See that? See how I have that overlap now? Now, if I come in here and I select just this face, don't grab anything else, just that face, and I say intersect faces with model, not context, but everything in the model, what it will do is it will go in and give me breaks. See that? Any place that overlapped. Some of these break cleaner than others. With that way, I should be able to go through. Why is it not? It's not offsetting to the point it's breaking. I should be able to use those breaks now to go in and get rid of that excess geometry. So there's a little bit of extra cleanup. What I could do.
Yeah. Oops.
All right, I'm backing up. I'm pulling out real quick. I'm going to back up a couple
13,
steps.
14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Whew.
Command Z, best command in any creative software. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm gonna add it to best word processor.
Top feature in SketchUp.
All right, so I'm gonna back up and I'm gonna take the 2D section and I'm gonna move that section. It doesn't even matter how far, as long as it overlaps the geometry. Now I'm gonna double click on that and I'm gonna say intersect face with model. Now I have this super easy, just come in and erase. I don't have to worry about that back edge, causing issues. Any place it didn't break the geometry, I might have to do a little bit of extra work there, but Uh, oh, you
Ooh,
monster.
ooh.
There we go. All right, so I can
So
just
it's, I
come
mean,
through.
it's nice whenever you have just egregious breakages like this, though, right? Because you learn so much. The more the uglier the mistake,
The
the
more you
better I am
learn.
at remembering. Yeah.
There we go. So yeah, I can just come down and look for those breaks. Here's another one. So this is, I mean, there's a couple clicks happening here, but this is not ridiculous amounts of work to get this geometry out of here. About, I'm going to say once every couple weeks or a couple months, I'll see somebody post on the forum. They got like a 3D plate or something like that, and they want to cut 100 holes out of it, and they ask, how do they do that? And people come in with ideas, well, use components or use this or that. Generally speaking, though, the easiest way to put breaks or holes into 3D geometry is to do it in 2D geometry and then extrude afterwards.
You say that with all this voice of authority right after you did it the other way.
Yeah, that's that's that learning thing. It was intentional. It was to show a problem so I could show you how to fix it.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Totally true. True story.
You're a master of the craft of of breaking things,
Oh
doing
yeah,
things wrong.
I mess up good. All right. So once I get this done, I'll do another cleanup and merge everything back together. Oops. And
My favorite
then
mistakes are the ones where I see myself doing it, do it, and then have to Control Z back. Oh wait,
it's almost that out of body experience where you're like floating beside yourself going, no, don't click, don't want.
wrong one.
All right, I'm gonna grab all of that. Same thing, come in here, merge my faces again. That should, because those cuts were all the way across, that should get rid of almost everything. I can see I have a couple spots where it didn't, so I'm just gonna go back to cleanup and say erase stray edges. All right, but that, my friends, should give me, come here. Okay, fine. You're getting hidden. How you like that? Now I'm grabbing that.
Bink.
This device isn't set up yet. To get
What
started,
the?
download the Google Home app on a
I don't even know what I said.
Did you say Bing? Does Bing have a thing there?
but it's the Google thing. My favorite thing about that little Google device is also that anytime I say, "Hey Google,"
This device isn't set up yet. To get started,
she tells me that
download the
she's not
Google
set
Home
up
app
yet.
on a phone or
I'm not
tablet.
working.
But she was set up, and I just haven't. I'm too lazy to fix it.
It's Saturday, Jody. I'm not working today.
It's-
All right. So that gets us kind of what we're looking for. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of color here because I'm having a hard time differentiating surfaces. So again, still components, so the ends are easy. For the sides, what I'll do is I'm just gonna come in here, add a line like that and color there. Oops.
oh, nice.
Work smarter, not dumber. No, wait. So that gets me kind of a cool looking thing I got going on here. I'm liking, I mean, this was, again, we're doing concept modeling here. We're throwing geometry, but that turned out pretty sweet.
Yeah, it actually has started to look like the actual model or the
Yeah.
actual concept art that they've done, minus a lot of plant life.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about that. I really, so maybe what I can just do here, what if I come in here and I just go grab a nice grassy, oh, you know what? It's going to be an issue because my scale is way out of whack right now. Each of these floors are like, let's see, how tall is this? That's 168 feet.
Nice. What is this? A building complex for giants?
Let me grab all of this and let's get real. Let's get realistic, guys. All right. Make this a group. Here's how I would go about scaling a bunch of stuff. Grab all this stuff. Let's scale. Let's call that about 12 foot. All right. Our images are big, but I kind of feel like we're done with our images. We're working on the real thing now. Ooh, I got an extra window or extra chunk right here. Show me everything else. Let's get rid of that one piece. Let's see if we can get rid of this one piece. Whew, that's how push-pull is supposed to work. Nice work. Crap, it got rid of the face. Oh. Not sure why that's happening. This is just a face with too many holes, so let's try this. Let's bring it through like that, and then intersect face with context. Should give me a break. Actually, that was excessive. I didn't really have to do that. I can just delete this all out. There's always a way. You know, one of my missions, my personal missions right now, is to not spend time going through and like hand cleaning up and fixing issues, because I feel like I spend too much time doing that. I am going to have an issue. Can you show the building as a wood structure?
Apply wooden texture.
Yeah, I mean, I could
to
put
the...
wood texture. That could happen, but I don't know. Other than that,
saw something a while back. I can't remember how long it was. Like there is some places literally building like a skyscraper or a big building like this, but doing it all with timber frame. So it's actually all an actual wooden structure, but gigantic like this. I mean, not 106-foot tall floors, but
yeah, that was excessive. That was definitely excessive.
Yeah, Sven just commented the same thing. A really good size wooden structure.
All right. I'm going to do this other side.
This wooden skyscraper is being built in Switzerland. 100 meters high.
Wow.
Yeah.
A thing just occurred to me as I was copying stuff, that if I had just made the full grid, it would have been a lot easier to clean up. So let me do this slightly differently. Fill in and get these pieces, copy here. Let's get rid of my extra ones. That way I can just grab these guys right here. Option, copy those out to here. All right. So at this point, I really just need to run through and see if there's layers I want to, or levels I want to adjust
Tags.
here.
Scenes, wait.
No, these are actual levels. Stories. Floors. Floors is the word I was looking for. Floors I want to come out here and align, because this grid is different from the grid above. So just going to do this right quick. And then we'll actually, it should be a lot quicker to clean up this grid on this side. Middle. It was funny because I was talking about this earlier about how randomness is kind of a computer's enemy, because, you know, computers are all science and math and all that scary wizardry stuff that nobody likes ever, anywhere. And I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Just clicking. It's so funny because I remember talking to a developer and said that, software developer, and he said that the hardest thing to make a computer do is make something random. So I guess even those random number generators are basically, you know, they're based on code. So they're based on something real.
It's usually grabbing like a very precise timestamp.
Right.
I think is what it. So that's changing constantly. So.
But there is no such thing as random. So it's always fun to look at things that are supposed to be random and probably aren't. Probably are placed based on something like that. Okay, cool. So we have our second set of floors, different from the first. Now, to get this facade made, this is gonna be very different because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here, grab all these. Once again, I am going to take them and I just like, there's certain things that I do that I've learned is good to save before, and exploding lots of geometry is one of them. That worked without an issue.
Nice.
Merge
I
faces.
feel like exploding. I get that right way more often than I do flip along.
Exploding faces.
Mhm.
I've just found there's a couple times that I've done it that, I don't know, it did not like what I asked of it or something, where it just didn't quite go the way I wanted it to. All right, so I'm going to shift that into the geometry it's crossing. Same thing I did before. Now, look at this. If this works well, this is going to save us a whole lot of time. So see how all these pieces stick out like this? When I'm done, I should have 3 faces in here. The geometry that overlaps, and then a chunk on the right and a chunk on the left. So let's see how this works. If I grab this, intersect face with model. All right, there we go. See how that worked there? Now, if I select, unfortunately, because it didn't break all the way, this isn't quite as easy as I was hoping it would be. But so I'm gonna have to come in here and do some. By some, apparently, I mean a lot of intersecting.
Nicholas's comment about the random ability.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Computers are just rocks we tricked into thinking." It's it's on point. It tracks.
I don't dislike that at all. I can get behind that.
Silly rocks.
I think you're so
Sucker.
smart. All right, so I'm trying to think what the quickest way to do this. It might be to just come down here, delete the level pieces. That might give me one face in the middle. Know what I'm saying? That might work that. So that's 24 lines I have to erase. Let's see. No, I still have to separate it. Dang it, I still have to go in here and just squeeze these chunks out.
Tweeze. Pluck, pluck, pluck.
All right,
the eyebrows of your building.
This is going fairly quick now, actually, now that I did that.
Why didn't you just do that in the first place?
Because you would have learned. Like I said, a little bit of pain, even if it's mine, helps reinforce learning. Oh, there was. Woo! One side's done. All right, let's come over here. So what happens, so SketchUp it's all about creating those faces. And what happens is sometimes we present it with very complex sets of faces, and it can't keep up with the breaking of faces. So every once in a while, you end up with something like what I just made. Oh, there we go. That's it. Okay, so now that that's done, I can grab just this face, bring it out here, grab all that, delete it, and now I can take that end, bring it out here. Some of these got a little weird with their way they broke, but I'm gonna go ahead and offset at the same distance. Did I move it the wrong way? I did. All right. Simple fix. Let's just slide that right back over here. Boom, like that. Cool. All right, there we go. So this is starting to look like the thing we're trying to make it look like. I like that. I like when that happens.
It definitely looks like its own thing. It looks
Right.
like something.
I'm going to grab these two. And I'll just use scale. They're just boxes, so I'm just going to make them taller. Come in here. Oops. Grab this bottom section. Grab this bottom section, move it down like that. Do the same thing over on this side. Grab that section. There we go.
So I'm curious, how often when you don't have a camera filming you sketching, do you make those little sounds as well?
I make them a lot more when I'm by myself. There was
Sometimes they're different kinds of sounds. I'll use a fart sound, as a more often. Yeah.
That's appropriate. This overhang's looking a little hairy right here, I'll be honest, but we're past the point of concern. All
And
right.
at the bottom, you could just have poles that go into the ground.
I'm gonna maybe come in here, do the same thing I did before. I'm gonna give it midpoint. Offset down vertically, inference, so I get the same offset. No, push that in. Cool. I'm gonna grab, actually I don't need both those. I just need this right here. I'm gonna option copy that from here, slap it on the back side. That was unintentionally inappropriate.
Wow. It's got to
Grab these.
have to change the rating on this video now.
All right, that gives us those first floor oversized windows. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I did not come in here. Sweet. Looking cool. And then, the other thing I wanted to do is grab some ground cover. Give me some leafy greenness. See what this does. I don't know. We'll see. Bye. Color all of the exposed roof areas. I do that here too. Gives me a little bit. I don't have the crawling greenery so much, but a little more in the
Basically, it just looks like Top Golf.
It does.
Hate to be that guy's neighbor.
It's true. All right. I'm gonna do a couple things right here. So there's always this point I get to when I'm modeling with components where I go, do I go more? Do I break my components, or do I try to keep them separate? And I never really know the perfect answer. But these two guys right here, I would probably make into a single component. Actually, I'd probably just make them a group. They're not going to repeat, so probably just say make a group. Go into that group. Explode. This is dumb. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to grab one of these, delete it, take this guy, and take it across because it's a rectangle. All right, and then I could probably do that down here. Down here, these two actually look different, so I would probably make these into a group. Go in, explode, and then get rid of those extra edges. But on these pieces in the middle, I don't know if I would go back through and do that or not. I don't know. I guess it depends on where I'm going next. So being that I was, we want to do more concept modeling and play with the geometry, I think I would probably just leave it. If I was going to go in and do a render, I might grab a copy like that, offset it over, and then go through the process of making it all one piece, something like that. But for right now, for what we're wanting to do, I'm kind of feeling good about this. I kind of feel like I want to grab Niraj and put him up on the roof.
It feels pretty legit. The nice thing is it's all white, so you don't even have to do any extra textures.
I textured a building, guys. Everybody's harassing me about that. I did it.
Kegi suggested a swimming pool, but I'm looking at that and I think the sides are full of swimming pools. Or it's maybe one really big swimming pool. Look at all that water.
We're there. I mean, swimming pool, just come in here and just do.
You should put it out on the cantilever, just that way, make it super sketchy.
Sketchy-er.
Yeah.
That is, oh, because this is a component? No, I exploded from component. It's just a group now. Oh, no, it is. So I'm going to, yeah, there's a problem. Because I took all these things and I made them small and then made them big and then made them small, when I put something like a material on there, it scales super, super tiny. That's a bummer. So if I scale definition, that should bring it back. Okay. That looks better. That's what I was looking for with the green. I was kind of wondering what I did wrong. That's what I did wrong. There we go. Niraj should probably step away from the pool just a little bit. Oh, I'm falling. Cool. Well, guys, I think that's
Looks
That's
like a
pretty cool.
completed thing. And if the more we zoom out and the more I squinch my eyes up,
more
better it
looks like the
looks.
real one.
Yeah.
Well, I think it looks a lot like the conceptual rendering I worked from as a reference. So, and it
Yeah.
does look random. That's the other thing that I'm kind of geeking out a little bit on is the randomness of these pieces that are. I mean, there's one component. We made one piece to create all these floors. There's one of them, and it does look like they are a bunch of random pieces. So I kind of like that. You know what I'm going to do though? This was very useful at the time, but right now I'm going to get rid of that blue. Oop.
Oh, there you go. Although I think that maybe the architect, I don't know, if I was building that, I would leave that blue so that whenever people come out and they've got an overhang above them, looks like there's still some sky up there.
Look up at the sky. That's right. Awesome. Well, hey guys, we're just over an hour and a half, so this is kind of like where I go, okay, is there stuff that has to be done? And I'm kind of feeling good about what I did. Yeah, it's a unique building.
It is. And it apparently takes a long time to build.
Apparently so. I'm actually taking a rush out there. I like that better. Like that. Oh, here, let's one thing that I have noticed Tyson always does is he always turns the shadow on, get some cool shadow work going. You know what I gotta do? I gotta grab it all and bring it back up to floor height. My ground was below the floor. That's kind of cool. One of the things we do is the last thing we do here with these is we kind of make we zoom it to a good image to put in the thumbnail because we don't use the stock thumbnails, just kind of the preview. We can't create a thumbnail of the model we've created before we create it. So we create the last thumbnail. And I found there's certain models, buildings being one, where it's hard to get a good thumbnail, you know, because your thumbnail goes this way. And a building, if it's a tall building, fills up like 10 to 15% of that thumbnail right in the middle. So you either have to go something like this. It's like, that doesn't really look good.
No, bottom, like looking up. No,
looking
wait,
up.
never mind.
See, that's a cool view, but you can't tell what it is. So it's always this. What I end up doing is that's where I use that shadow to just kind of fill in the thumbnail. There you go. So you get some horizontal to the image.
Turn off profile so it doesn't dominate.
Yeah, that is definitely. I'm surprised I got as far as I did. As far as I did being through the entire model without turning profiles off. They usually bug me, but yeah, look how sharp that looks.
Nice.
That looks awesome. Well, cool. Well, thank you guys for joining us. We're going to wrap it up right here. I hope you guys learned something. I appreciate you sticking around. This was fun. This was definitely fun. It's fun to go in and do architectural models. And I apologize. Anybody who is like upset because the thing we made doesn't exactly match the real building, I apologize. Maybe once it gets built, have real photos, because every render I look at looks a little different. We could actually go back and, in a year or two, maybe we'll go back and make the exact building, but we'll see how that goes.
The construction building pictures that I'm seeing is definitely a different beast than their renderings. So.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like Colin pointed out, we have 2 images that have different levels of floors on them.
So the official
That's a
architect's page
discrepancy.
says it is a 24 floor building.
Well, this is Qorner with a K.
Yeah, but this is, as we said, this is not that building. This is your building.
A building that looks a lot like that building. That's where we'll leave this.
Yeah. So if someone's like, I want the Qorner Tower, and then mom's like, we've got the Qorner Tower at home. This one right here.
This is the Qorner Tower. Wrap it here. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Like I said, hopefully this was fun for you. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you come back next week. Next week, I don't know what's going to happen or even who's going to be modeling. So it's going to be fun. Yeah.
Random.
Something will be happening, and you should come check it out. But yeah, on behalf of Jody and our entire... Actually, I don't have to do it on behalf of Jody. Jody can say it by himself. On behalf of everybody other than Jody, thank you guys who is involved with making this. Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Now I'm feeling horribly excluded, but yeah, thanks.
Thanks for everybody plus Jody. Awesome. Thank you guys. Till next time. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.